I'm Tracy Rigdon, and this is the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. Often random, always relevant, always real, and practically nothing is off limits. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. Welcome back to another edition of Wednesday Night Live of the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Charles Gaskins. Charles, how you doing, bro?
Fucking awful! It's terrible! No, I'm kidding. I'm fine.
It is fucking hot. I was just telling you guys, I was talking to Angie Nixon earlier today, and she was in her car, and we were talking about how hot it is. And the other day, I saw this TikTok video of some girl, some young lady from Jacksonville, who had taken a frying pan out her back door and set it on the sidewalk, her little walkway. She had a little walkway going off her patio. She set the frying pan out there for like 10 minutes and then went out there and put an egg in it. Swear to God, she scrambled eggs in that son of a bitch. It's that hot.
Sounds like
That's Florida.
Like a business opportunity to me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Well, listen, guys. Charles, we got a fantastic guest for us tonight, a friend of yours, Mr. James Byer. James, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, Tracy. Thanks for having me. It's speaking of heat, if you see me perspiring, please ignore that. The AC's out in my house right now. So I scooped some window units. They're cooking. The bathroom is a hellscape. But other than that, I'm doing great.
Awesome. And don't worry about what you see on the screen right now. If you see any pixelating, anything like that, it's not going to look like that when we get done. Listen, before we get to talking about your latest venture in Springfield there, you had mentioned in your bio to me that you had moved to Jacksonville at a young age, very young age. And although you're, not a native, you call Jacksonville your home. And you've lived in Jacksonville for quite a while. What do you remember about those early days? Because Charles and I, we were just reminiscing about, what Springfield used to look like years ago and what it looks like today. So what do you remember about Jacksonville when you first moved here?
I mean, it was obviously a whole different world at that point in your life when you come from the Midwest, and then like there's palm trees and sun. I remember a lot of construction that hasn't changed much. I remember that the state was on fire. That's maybe changed a little bit. We moved down to St. Johns County originally because for schooling reasons. I guess, it was notorious that Duval County schools were fairly awful. So I ended up there, but any chance I got, I would skip class and head down to Riverside when Riverside was still a cultural hub and not an Urban Outfitters. That was like the place that I always wanted to be. So as soon as I was old enough to get my own place, I took off for Riverside. Actually, the first house I had was right on McDuff and Rayford with I-10 in the front yard, and it was beautiful. That was before people were willing to call it Murray Hill. And we ended up in Riverside, when you could still get like a 5-bedroom house for $1,000 and 6 people living there, and it was awesome. Then we got priced out, went to Murray Hill, and then we got priced out and ended up in Springfield. And I loved Springfield as soon as I got here. And we decided we're not going to let that happen again. So my partner at the time, we purchased a home. At the time, it was the only house on the block that wasn't abandoned. And it was that was about 15, 16 years ago. Definitely not the kind of, we got in early. I'll tell you that. Now they have golf carts and stuff. It's slowly turning into Nocatee, which is awesome. It's awesome for the neighborhood. And now we don't have pawn shops. We have breweries and restaurants and a really great wine bar that just opened up called Juice. It's coming together, and it's a really exciting side of town. Obviously, the architecture is amazing. The community is super supportive, and I just love this side of town. We don't get as much love, I think, as we deserve from the city of Jacksonville, not to ruffle any feathers, but the middle of the street right now looks like my backyard. It doesn't look like San Marco, I'll tell you that. It's a jungle down Main Street right now, if you're listening, city of Jacksonville. I love this neighborhood. I'm just glad to see it growing and happy to be a part of it.
It is beautiful. Now, you had said that a band had changed your life. That was a band that was ranting in French about 9/11. And I believe that club, that bar is still open, is it not? You were in Springfield,
well, absolutely.
weren't you?
Shantytown Pub is an institution.
Right.
It's actually kind of the birthplace of it was a turning point in my life. So I got out of class that night. By that time, I had quit UNF, and I was just trying to take enough classes at the time, FCCJ, so my mom wouldn't disown me. And I went to do homework. I was doing my homework at Shantytown. Naturally, I was going there to be, I guess, productive. And I walked in, and I didn't even walk around to where the tiny little stage is. I sat right at the first chair, pulled out my paperwork, and pretended to be doing it. And this guy was ranting in French, and his guitar was just dissonant. And clearly, the guitar player had no idea what he was doing, and I loved it. So I walked around the corner, and they were just finishing up. And it turned out I knew the guitar player. I'd met him once before. We had bonded over our love for Deltron 3030. To me, one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. And then the lead singer was a man by the name of Leland Masters. He was in the Navy at the time, large, verbose, eccentric gentleman who just wrote the craziest fucking songs ever. And I said, "Hey, man, I play harmonica." And he said, "You're our new drummer." And he looked at Nick, the guitar player, and he was like, "Hey, we got a drummer." And he was like, "Oh, I know that guy," the aforementioned person I knew. My first practice was our first show, which was also at Shantytown. And I remember going up to Birdie's, which was, I think, still Starlight at the time, to do a show.
Yeah,
'Cause
Starlight
we
Cafe or
just
something like
showed
that.
up, like guerrilla style. We would just show up. But I was underage, so they wouldn't let us play. And we decided to go on tour, and none of us had ever done that. We didn't even know how to play instruments. So we just got in my Honda at the time and just left town. And then we figured out this formula that if you go to the coffee shop, you find the coolest looking chick or dude, and you say, "What's going on tonight?" And they'll be like, "Oh, this is going on." And then you show up there, and at this time, when I say drums, I'm playing a bucket with butter knives. And we have a guitar player and a singer. And we toured all around the Southeast, all the way up to New Orleans. We did 10 shows in 10 days in New Orleans, made it up to Memphis, where the name for my next project, Amphibians, was inevitably born. All over. We played underneath the 10 Commandments out somewhere in the Panhandle. It was a wild adventure. I remember accidentally driving through New Orleans late night, wondering why all the cops were staring at me on the road. But turned out we didn't have the headlights on, and we were just trying to find a place to sleep. But anyway, all that's like, that band was called Richelieu, by the way.
Right on the road.
And I learned later on, after the band dissolved, because Leland had to finish his last tour, whatever they call that in the war industry, that Richelieu apparently invented the butter knife. So it's quite fitting and poetic at the end. Nick and I, when we returned, we didn't know what to do because neither of us were good at anything. So we just started just playing guitar loudly at each other in a little sunroom I had in Murray Hill with a 4-track in this house that was haunted, but that's for a whole nother episode. And that became Amphibians. So we started playing real shows that were booked, and we saw all these bands, and we're like, "Man, there's so many great fucking bands in this town, and nobody's doing anything. Nobody has CDs, nobody has shirts. I don't know anything about running a label, but I was obsessed with music, so I was like, fuck it, let's give it a name." And I had a paper I was writing for my film class in college about Pulp Fiction, and I'd used the word infinitesimal, and he just drew the logo, which is obviously sacred geometry, and we just made a label because we wanted to. And that just grew and grew into the monster that it became a full-time, a non-paying job for a long time.
If you're enjoying the Contrast Project Lounge podcast right now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And if you're looking to make a deeper dive into the world of news and that matters the most to you, head on over to the Wisecrackers Dispatch, hosted by yours truly, exclusively on Substack. See you over there. Yeah, something like
It's a passion project. It's a passion project. Don't call it a non-paid job.
A passion project.
Bad business is expensive.
Now, Infintesmal Records released what, 80 records?
Yes. Quite a bit, mostly local, but we did start expanding into some national artists, and we have some really exciting things on the way, but it all started handmade. We would hand make everything to the point where we had set up an assembly line, and we would just sit there pounding drinks. Yeah, we know, hand drawing flyers, hand making CDs, burning CDs, and we would just stand outside of any dive bar and just be like, support music, support music. Our first release at the time, I had titled The Real Better Jacksonville Plan, Volume 1, which was a hit. It had quite a bit of awesome bands on there, if you ask me. And we had some like unreleased John Todd stuff from the old era, some up and coming artists. Laser Star was on there, and of course, all of our little community, your early Honey Chamber and whatnot. We just did that over and over again, and then people liked it, which was weird. So going back to Shantytown, Ian finally offered us. He's like, "Why don't you
Weird is good."
why don't you do every Wednesday night? And it's like, okay. So then we have a showcase. And then Underbelly, which used to be really cool in downtown behind the boutique, they offered us a night. And then TSI at the time. Then we had Friday night there. So next thing you know, I'm booking 3 shows a week in a town that struggles to support music at all. But it was like you said, it's a passion project. So, I mean, I don't want to know over time how much in the red I am, but it's all been worth it.
Well, all of it's hard.
Can't
And
wait.
yeah, all of the passion projects wind up being that way, and they are because they are. It's by design. And you know, touring life can be hard, and playing, you know, 3 or 4 different clubs per week can be tough, even if it's not what you would call classic touring, even if it's in the same town, even if they're on the same block. If you're setting up and tearing down 3, 4 times a week, like I say, even if it's down the block, that can be tough. And a lot of times you wind up, you know, couch surfing, you know, for the week or something, you know. And you had mentioned something about floor sleeping. So from a floor sleeping musician, to co-founder of this hospitality business that you have, you know, what inspired you to pivot into the food and drink world?
It really wasn't too much of a pivot. A lot of musicians pretty much survive in the service industry anyway, because it's the only job that you can kind of leave if you need to and pick up again. You know, I would go on tour for 3 to 4 months that I'd booked, and there wasn't a lot of places that you could just, like, you know, a corporate job that's going to be like, yeah, sure, go sleep on floors for 3 months and you can come back. So I'd always kind of been in the service industry, and I swore I'd never do it again. I took a couple years off after COVID and got a job in, like, basically corporate retail storage sales, and I was really good at that, but it drove me crazy. And one day I emailed the boss. I said, I can't do it. I kind of just had that moment. I was like, I'm fucking out. And I walked outside to have a smoke, and my neighbor was walking by. And I was like, yo, I just quit my job. He's like, shit. And he's like, well, we're hiring at Crispy's. I was like, I need something in between, so I guess I'll pop by there. That was less than 2 years ago. And over that time, I saw the potential of the space, and I saw what could be done. And I ended up, luckily, meeting Joey Powers, who's one of my business partners. He came in as a bartender. He's been in the industry for a long time locally, managed a lot of the Surf Star restaurants out at the beach and bars. And one night we were outside after work, and I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if we could just get this place. And he's like, well, let's see what we can do. And surprisingly, Crispy said yes. So then it was like, oh shit, we got to figure this out. So Joey and Marisha Carson, that's another business partner. We formed a hospitality management company called Kano's Hospitality Management. And that word Kano's just kind of means breathing new life and rebranding an old idea and bringing it back to life. And Crispy's is just the first step in this. It's a beautiful building. It's an incredible neighborhood. Already has the support, but just needed, you know, a little bit of TLC. And the response from the neighborhood has been amazing so far. And that's kind of my favorite part, honestly. Way better than all the phone calls and Google reviews and stuff. But the neighborhood has responded incredibly. And we have so many more projects that I can't wait to share with everybody when I'm allowed to. But basically, this is just the beginning. We'll save that for the third interview.
Not even a second. All right.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now,
I'm ready to sit back and listen. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. Now, well, Crispy's on its own 2 feet has, like you say, I mean, it already has a following. I mean, it has become an iconic gathering place, a watering hole there in Springfield, and I mean, it's just what pressure, or have you even had pressure when you step into a place that's already thriving? And of course, I'm sure you get elated when you walk in there and the place is full and all that. But what kind of pressure do you feel to maintain that level?
Well, I mean, luckily, having been there for almost 2 years before all this occurred, I kind of became, you know, for lack of a better term, the mascot anyway. You know, when people came in, you know, I'm the constant. I'm the one that's there. So I'd gotten to know the people there. I think thriving is a bit superfluous, or maybe I'm thinking of the wrong word for where it was at. And that was the worst part, is that it could have been so much more. And that was our passion. I think being able to breathe new life into it and bring in Chef Kristen and redo the complete menu, fresh, as much locally sourced as possible, engage the community, work with more of the businesses on Main Street. You know, we cleared out the top area that was used for private events from time to time and put some pool tables up there, dartboards, you know, your golden tees and your bowling games. We got a little kids section downstairs where they could get ducks or play Galaga, and just painting the place. It was really just, you know, like, let's make this a neighborhood spot. They had done great, obviously, but it was kind of dwindling a bit. We're obviously grateful that John agreed to let us take over the spot. But it just has so much potential, I feel like, was being underutilized. So being able to do that, and we only closed for 6 days, which I was stressed, obviously, about. I would like to close for a month. So we're still working on it. Now we got theme nights. We're doing hospitality nights for everybody in the industry. We're doing family nights. We got free pool night, you know, dollar wing night, you know, just throwing stuff. We just keep throwing and see what sticks. But in the meantime, it was about changing the vibe. And that's been one thing I like. Local, I don't know if he's ever been on your podcast. I haven't listened to all of them yet. But local, you know, kind of fashion icon, influencer, Bobby K. He's a regular, man. And he was like, now it feels like punk rock Krispies, and I just fucking love it. And that's the kind of things I want to hear. Not to scare people off. I mean, you're not going to come in and be like, oh my God, this is Shantytown with food. It's not that. It's just got it's got a vibe to it. And that was the most important part to me is, if we're doing this, when people walk in, I want it to feel different. And I'm really proud of the menu and what we've done so far. And we're still working to move towards that perfect idea in the sky, I guess.
Right. So,
food aside, I love that. Oh, sorry. Wait,
ahead.
sorry, Tracy.
Go ahead, Charles.
No, I was gonna say, no, I love that. What was it, on Monday or Sunday? You had posted on social media that Crispy's is featuring local art. And Tracy and I were talking about this before you logged in, and I love that. 'Cause it's like,
Imagine that. So, you know, they'd had art in there. It was called Crispy Springfield Gallery. But I really wanted to, that was one of the many things I wanted to breathe new life into, you know, besides the menu and the vibe. And I partnered with my old friend Jim Draper, who obviously you guys are probably familiar with. He's kind of like a legend and god. And he, of course, as usual, he was happy to assist me. So what I'm trying to do is quarterly openings. We have the space upstairs, the lounge now with the games and the pool tables. And I want to use that space to feature local artists, you know, have an opening party, and just get more art cycling through there instead of, for a long time, it was just the same stuff that was up all the time. That'll be a fun story for another podcast too. David Nakashi was our first artist. And it's incredible. What I got, he's a local Springfield artist as well, but he'll sit in his truck and just paint.
That's a photographer, right? Or no?
And I never thought anybody could make the Shady Shell look beautiful, but I really want to buy the Shady Shell painting. If I had any money, I would. But it's awesome.
Yeah, he does some fantastic work, and he does a lot of murals too.
Yeah, and he was doing a lot of street work before the government banned it. So I think he was on the news this morning,
right,
talking about that. But you know, we're trying to stay away from politics. That's for another episode on the other podcast.
On the politics side of things. Yeah.
We're gonna focus our fist up in support for everyone that's
I'll tell you what, when I'm mayor of Jacksonville, I'll show you how to make downtown happen. I got ideas.
Let's hear them. Let's hear them.
I'll fix it right now.
No, for real. Let's hear it. Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, obviously downtown is a void, right? And has been forever. And everybody's like, downtown's finally going to happen. And we all know why this is happening, why we're a sprawl community. And unlike most cities, things are thriving downtown and in their suburbs. First Baptist Church. But luckily, they're kind of losing their things. What I would do is you take UNF and you drop it in the middle of downtown, and you take First Baptist and you put them over on the south side. And then you got people out supporting businesses. You got people living. You got community. You got art going up everywhere. And it's suddenly this following cast of people coming in and out of downtown, supporting all the businesses, people getting jobs downtown. That's just the first step. But that's the biggest step.
Right.
Suddenly downtown's just nobody's downtown.
Stage one.
Imagine that. And then you go right over the bridge and you got JU, which is spending a lot of money now doing stuff. Suddenly you have all these thriving culture happening. That'd be cool. You know, Riverside, the artists move in and then it gets really expensive and they push us to Murray Hill and then they push us to Springfield. And Springfield, we're going to get priced out. Where are we going next? I mean, I really like the rail yard district, but you know, maybe if we make downtown happen and then all the rich people come, then we can take over Nocatee.
Yeah, well, you're partially the way there already because First Baptist has already sold off most of their property downtown.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, even the auditorium, the main auditorium is being converted. That whole corner there is going to be converted.
Yeah, I think they still have city council though, so we still got to keep fighting.
Yeah,
We gotta keep voting.
City council, they put up blocks. Well, they put up blocks to, and here we go with the political side of it.
I know. You said you only had 30 minutes. You barely scratched the surface.
I know. They put up roadblocks to any kind of ventures, that are going to bring arts and culture to downtown. They always do, always have. Now, since we are coming close to the end of our show here, let me ask you something, James. Looking at Duval's future, Jacksonville, Duval, and not necessarily, in the urban core, but, Duval as a whole, it's music, it's neighborhoods, it's like people like to say the heart and soul of the town, what gives you hope, and what would you say scares the shit out of you about the future of Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've touched a bit on that. What gives me hope is seeing these changes, like you said, of certain properties being sold off and whatnot, seeing small businesses opening up and creative ideas and diversifying the businesses that we have. And it's kind of one of those things. I mean, it's not cheap to run a business. And it's like choosing to be in a band. It's like it's a passion project. Like, you kind of have to be crazy to a degree. I mean, every business owner I've ever worked for, or at least the good ones, were crazy as hell.
You gotta be bonkers to do this shit.
Yeah.
But the community's got to support. When we started the label, the whole old regime would always tell us, "You're never going to make it here. You're never going to make it here." And that's the people that the '90s guys, the ones that would hang around Starlight and be like, "Rrr, rrr." But it's like I didn't care, But now I go out. After COVID, I took a break. We didn't put much out during that time, just because everything was crazy and I didn't know what I was doing.
We all think until we make it.
You book these shows, it's like now I'm the old guy, which is crazy. And I don't want to be that for the up and coming wave. I've been out to a few shows. It's harder now. When I was in my 20s, I went to every single show. Not only did I book 3 of them, but then I go out on the other nights and watch other people's shows they book. I can't do that anymore, man.
Yeah.
I can't, unfortunately, financially or spiritually or physically, mostly, I can't do it. But I don't want to be that. I want to build, I think there's a lot of people that want to build an infrastructure that will continue to support the arts and the growth of these communities. And that's what gives me hope. What gives me fear is that there's always been that potential and always the people that are put in the position of power to make those things happen, shoot it down. That always gives me fear about this town. To create that culture of there's nothing to do in this town. That's the hardest thing to change, I've learned in Jacksonville. Even though you could give them everything on a platter. I mean, we didn't even charge for shows for 5 years. People still say there's nothing to do in this town. It's like, well, maybe you come see this weird country band I booked from Portland. I don't know. I don't care if you don't like country music. It's something to do.
When people say there's. I hate when people say there's nothing to do in Jacksonville because there's always something to fucking do. There is good shit going on all the time.
Yep. I don't even like the beach. I hate the sun, and I still enjoy living here. I left for a while. I went to New York, and I went to not your New York, Charles. I was in upstate, and ended up in Minneapolis for a while.
New York.
I came back down, and I missed the mountains. I won't lie. I loved it out there, but ended up back here. And it's. I mean, I'm just excited to be a part of it. But I'm just one person. You guys interview a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are working, and things like this, like the podcast, and maybe organizing some more community meetings of people that are in different facets and are doing different things. If we can all band together, Fantastic 60 or whatever against the detractors, I think we can really turn this city around. I think we are, but I think our powers
it's
are
community
together. Just stop.
I agree.
Yeah.
Charles, before we go, you got any closing thoughts for us? You got any questions for James?
No, but he mentioned playing harmonica, and I'm tempted to go over to my harmonica box and grab one of my harmonicas and play something.
Nobody actually wants to hear harmonica. It's like bagpipes, it turns out. No one actually wants to hear it.
Well,
when I was in college,
since no one wants to hear harmonica, I have to do it now.
Goodness gracious.
No, keep talking, keep talking.
We got him on a roll now. We got him on a roll. He's going to get his
Yeah, when I
mouth
was in
harp.
college, I delivered food for Hot Walk in Riverside, and I would ride around listening to Woody Guthrie records and just play harmonica
Fuck yeah.
nonstop. But I'm about as good as a harmonica as I am at any other instrument, which is not good at all. I learned that pretty early on. I'm not a musician. People were like, I hear you're a musician. And I kind of cringe because I know like 3 or 4 chords. I've just managed to turn that into travel and experiences. I'm more of a writer. I'm trying to
Hey,
explore more of that now. I'm working on trying to get my first novel going and a screenplay, which I know you know a lot about, Gaskins. Always pulling it
cool.
I
out.
do, yeah.
That'll be another episode.
No, I actually pulled out this styrofoam theremin instead of
Oh, hell
my
yeah.
harmonica box with all the different keys.
Boy.
So
How
yeah,
appropriate.
that's it. Can you
Oh,
hear it?
boy.
Is that the one you used in Creepy Tiki's?
I'm not. No, well, I played bass in Creepy Tiki's.
Oh, I know that, but is
Laura
that the
played
theremin y'all use?
theremin. No, 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 no. I mean, I quit that band over a year ago, over a year and a half ago, whatever.
No, dude. I was just
This
asking
is
if that was the same theremin
something
you're
I
using
bought.
today.
No, this is something that I bought uh 5 months ago, maybe. Yeah, it's just a goofy, fun little thing, and it's neat that you can. And also
I love them. I love it. I love it. See, that's the kind of instrument I can play because it's really just,
some goofy shit.
yeah. You know, I can write and play the theremin. That's it.
I've got well, like I don't know if you can see. Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of amps and guitars and a drum kit and all kinds of shit behind me.
And
Yeah,
nobody to
I mean,
play them.
I would never call myself a musician, but I'll be pretentious as a cunt and call myself an artist.
I know. Isn't that the weird part? I was gonna mention that. You know, when people are like, "You're a musician," it seems like such an asshole to say you're an artist, but I really am not a musician at all. Even though I play one on TV, I just write. And I learned long ago that I'm better at surrounding myself with people that are more talented, and just let me write and dance, and I'm better. But I've seen you play bass out there, all sexily walking around in a suit, uh, staring people down.
Sexually walking around.
Yeah, I know
I
you.
like that compliment. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, I've been in several bands through the years and did some touring myself. And there was this one band I played in Central Florida for a while, and our bass player used to say that all the time. He said, "I'm not a bass player. I'm not a musician. I'm not this. I'm not that." He was very basic, but I tell you what, that was a super fun band, and he was always in the pocket.
That's rare with a bass player. You usually end up with someone like Charles. But I mean, that's you know, when it comes to, you know, it's like Peter Buck with REM. You know, you'll never hear REM guitar solo, but that man wrote a million great records just by, you know, playing a big jangly chords. And you know, I'm not really I'm a X Factor over virtuoso anyway. I mean, I don't give a shit about Steve Vai or whatever. People are like, "Oh, listen to this." It's like I don't want to listen to Dream Theater. I'd rather listen to Daniel Johnston. That's just how
Fuck yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, is it my closing statement time? Are you kicking me off? Can we do volume 2
Yeah, I'm
now?
about to kick you off, man.
Let's talk more about Daniel
No,
Johnston.
no,
Let's talk
James,
more about
James,
Daniel Johnston.
yeah, James. If you got any words of wisdom for us,
Casper the
and
Sleepy Goat.
and also throw in another plug for Crispies.
Oh yeah, I mean I got
Oh
plugs
yeah, yeah.
galore. As far as words of wisdom, I mean one thing I like to tell people, you know, playing in bands, you know, starting off playing, not knowing how to play any music, and then suddenly ending up, and I never knew how to, you know, make a pizza, but I'm there now. It's like it doesn't matter if you don't know. People are always like, I wish I could play in a band. It's like, dude, you can. You totally can. Just make noise and care about it. That's all you have to do. Like, listen to Beat Happening and the empire that he built. And listen, you don't have to be Steve Vai. All you have to do is care about it. And if no one else cares, who cares? Because it gets things out of your system. So, from pretending to do homework at Shantytown has led to me, you know, playing in Seattle and playing a Death by Audio in Brooklyn and playing all these places just because I walked into a bar that night and decided I was going to play a bucket with butter knives with people I didn't really know. Just do it, just do it. And that's what I'm doing now. I've always been a writer. That's where all this started. So this year, I'm trying to finally focus on that on top of all these other ventures because I have all this free time now. I'm working on finally completing some writing. I'm starting my first, hopefully, novel and the screenplay that I wanted to talk
Nice,
to you
nice.
about more. And I
Fuck.
think I'm gonna call it Yalsferatu. And it's gonna be like this Hank Williams type character that emerges from the woods, like this trailer, and just like destroys his town. But that's Yalsferatu coming soon. But yeah, so last year, the last band that I was in,
I'm all about that. I'm totally all about that. That is fucking that. Okay, yeah, that's
I'd
yeah.
be a fool not to plug the Loving Arms Race. That's my most recent full band. We put on LP last September. It's awesome. If you like good music, then you'll like it. That's about as easy as I can make that. And I'm working on my first solo album after all these years of putting out other people's albums. It's going to be a little psychedelic country EP being produced by my friend Mike Helms, also known as Moon Cheese Babies. I got like 3 of his records, the best ones he's ever made, sitting in the can, waiting for me to put them out. So Infintesmal is going to keep going
Nice.
strong. Crispies, we have so much more stuff we're going to do. We're building a stage out for our live music that we do every Friday. I hear rumors about building a
Yeah.
bar
Jesus,
upstairs,
yeah.
so we have 2 bars. We're just getting started there. So I encourage everyone, if you have an opinion about what Crispies used to be, I just forget that and come out. It's like, you heard Ministry's first album and then you heard, the 90s stuff. It's like,
Of
it's not the
course.
same. Although the first one did kind of rip for a while, the new wavy stuff. But like, we all know
Yeah, it
the
was
land
fun
of grape
synth
and
pop. Yeah.
honey is better. So that's all I'm saying. We're just getting started and it's a new era for a lot of things. And that's kind of refreshing because it's easy to fall into a funk and then it suddenly just happens. But it's not, it just happens. You just keep moving and just give a shit. That's my advice. Give a shit about whatever you're doing. Just give a shit
Well, we give a shit.
and vote.
And vote.
And
And vote. That's right. That's right. Well, guys, it's been wonderful talking to both of you tonight. Charles, I will see you again next week. And James, pleasure to meet you, buddy. And we'll have to get you back on again soon.
I hope so. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, Charles.
All right.
I'm going to log off real quick before you guys
I'll
finish.
see you at your restaurant.
Please come see me. I'm usually there at night. I'm a nighttime guy.
Oh, all right.
Peace out.
Oops.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode of the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. Big thanks to our guests, and big thanks to you for tuning in. You can find us on all of the social media channels, wherever you are. If you like what you heard, drop us a line in the comments section below, like, share, and smash all the subscribe buttons. New episodes drop weekly. Until then, take care of yourself and take care of your people. Peace.